Digital interventions are no longer in the future, but they're right here with us. Join us today as we get to discuss the opportunities, impact, and challenges to this rapidly evolving field. My name is Visli, and welcome to the Young and Help. I'm very excited today to be joined by Redemption from Sayward as we're going to unpack digital interventions. Welcome, Redemption.
Thank you so much, Wesley. Good afternoon or good evening, viewers.
All right. Can you tell us about you and where you're coming from?
Okay, my name is Redemption Chiwarese. I work for an organization called Say What, in short, which stands for Students and Youth Working on Reproductive Health Action Team. So it's a non-governmental organization that was formed in 2003 with the main aim to capacitate young people on issues to do with sexual reproductive health. So
Okay.
right now we are running in our 21st year in terms
Oh,
of programming for sexual reproductive health.
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much for sexual reproductive health and the other pertinent issues that are currently affecting young people and students, as well as child protection. So we diversified from being only focusing on sexual reproductive health to looking at other issues like climate change,
Oh,
issues
interesting.
like gender-based violence that are
Uh-huh.
also part and parcel of what of young people and how they impact on their well-being and their health.
All right. So I'm really excited to hear more on what Sayward is doing, especially on the digital intervention side, since your target is the young people. You see, it's the world is ever evolving, and we're going digital each and every day. I would want to know what Sayward has been doing or has done in terms of mitigating this digital gap.
Okay, so if you hear me correct, Say What has been operating for 21 years.
Yeah.
And mainly it's been operating in tertiary institutions,
All right.
that is with students and young people. And during the 2020 COVID era, that's where most of our programming shifted from being on a physical
Oh, to online.
level,
Yeah.
being going to a digital, because no one was actually allowed to conduct any physical
Yeah.
interactions or activities. So that's when we focused more when it comes to issues to do with digital.
Okay.
So during that time, we were using the spaces that we have, that is Facebook, the Twitter pages, that is
Yeah.
now X, as well as Instagram and YouTube, to create content so that young people and other people as well who are interested in learning about sexual reproductive health and other components could actually learn and get to know the kind of information that is out there, because currently we have different information that is spilling out through the digital world. We have misinforming or myth that are currently being informed to young people.
Yeah.
So we try as much as possible to use our social pages to educate young people on the correct information when it comes to issues to do with sexual reproductive health.
Interesting.
And I think in last year, that is 2023, that's when we brought out another new baby when it comes to digital. That is the Smart Learners Hub.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So it's a platform that is there for young people
Okay.
to actually, young people or anyone who wants to interact on it to get
So
information.
you said the
Smart Learners Hub.
Oh,
Yes.
Smart Learners Hub.
Smart
Oh,
Learners Hub. So we're actually implementing the Action for Choice
okay.
project phase 2.
All right.
The phase 1 was on smart learners. If you see our combis, they're branded smart learners. So we took that in terms of trying as much as possible to capacitate young people, because
Okay.
names and words actually inspire people.
Yeah,
Because
true.
when we
Very
talk
true.
about
Yeah.
Smart Learners
Hub.
Hub,
Okay.
yes, I'm a smart person. Go into the Learners Hub to actually interact and get information.
Oh, interesting. So,
Yes.
I understand that the Smart Learners Hub is there to cap the information gap when it comes to sexual and reproductive health, right? Is there any other challenges that is being mitigated by the Smart Learners Hub?
Yes, yes. So the Smart Learners Hub is not only going to capacitate young people on sexual reproductive health,
Okay.
it got other issues like climate change, child
Oh,
protection.
nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's more or less of an interactive platform.
Okay.
It's an online interactive platform. You learn, because in our work, we capacitate young people through training and mentorship.
Oh,
And
nice.
as we noticed, some of the young people that we train either later graduate and they leave a gap when it
Okay.
comes to other peers educating others through the peer education model.
All
So the
right.
Smart Learners Hub is there to curb that gap when
Oh,
it comes to do with capacitating young people.
that's brilliant.
Yes.
That's brilliant.
So it has a series of modules that are there.
Okay.
Yes, that you can actually take.
Oh.
It's like a course.
All right, I'll get into that. I
Yes.
wanted, just before we go further, I wanted to understand like the inspiration behind the Smart Learners Hub.
So it comes from what I've just said when it comes to issues to do with training young people, and then later on they move either 4 years. They've done their 4 years. That is, if you're at a university and if you're
Yeah.
at a polytechnic, it's
And then
either
they move
3
on
years.
with their lives.
Yes, they move on with their life and the information. So that gap, we saw it as a need in terms of trying as much as possible to curb it, to try to capacitate every young person who have access to the platform. So it's you learn it on or at your own pace,
Okay.
and it gives you information. The current information that we'll be giving to young people who will be training physical is the current information that is there, because
All
it's
right.
more like an interactive. It asks you questions, you answer, and it marks for you, and then it gives you the correct answers if maybe
Interesting.
you have failed on some of the modules. So that's the reason why it's there.
Okay.
Because if you notice, our trainings were conducted mostly. Maybe we can train 40 peer educators per institution. Let's take, for instance, like Great Zimbabwe. Great Zimbabwe may have plus or
And
minus
it's
12,000
yes, and then you
young
only train
people,
40.
and then you only train 40
Yeah.
per semester. And
Yeah.
their reach will be very hard. So that's the initiative that came.
Oh,
Let's
nice.
now try as much as possible to capacitate everyone out there. And if now they need more information, they also use that platform, or even call on our toll-free line, which is 577 or 577, or they can come at the university, because we have what we call resource centers, which mainly mined by people like me and the other colleagues of mine in 40 different institutions. So now young people can actually come with some of the information that they have or queries that they might have on the platform, and now get more information, or even we refer them if it's now a little bit clinical or technical to other service providers.
Oh, that's really interesting. I'm so interested in that. So I would want to. You have mentioned bits and pieces of how the Smart Learners Hub work. So maybe you can just take us through the basic steps on how a person can access it. Like what do you need to access it?
Okay,
Yeah.
so you need a phone, a smartphone,
Okay.
and
Yes.
access to internet. Unfortunately, for now, access to internet.
all right.
And you either type Smart Learners or say what Smart Learners Hub
Okay.
on your Google, and then it will come out, and then it has a segment that you can maybe browse first before you get into it, and then you enroll. So you enter your own name, surname. Please, currently, or other two viewers that are out there, use your correct name, because
Okay.
what it does, after you have gone through the courses and each and every module out there, it then gives you a certificate. At the end, yes, there is a certificate
interesting.
at the end of the training or the online course. So if you use, let's take for instance, if I use Ara Reads, it will come out as Ara Reads on my
Wait, on the certificate.
Yes, so
Okay,
you use your full name.
Okay, that's interesting. How long does the certificate? How long does it take to complete a course?
It depends on the pace that you want,
Okay.
because there are currently like 8 modules. So you can go on your own pace. To some, it's either maybe 4-5 hours if you're more
interesting.
concentrated. Yeah, if you're more concentrated on it, or either less to some.
Okay.
Yes, for others you can log in today, you do one module, you log out, you log in another day, you do. Yes, so you take it at your own at your own pace.
Oh, nice. That's really interesting. Okay, I'll get into that later. But then I also want to just to check, how is the impact, like just from from what you've been seeing? I mean, the reach and are young people actually accessing the Smart Learners Hub?
So I can safely say when we started rolling it out, the impact was, let's say maybe the outcome in terms of how people or how young people actually received it was very enormous. It was okay. We could see that a lot of people would actually enroll, and some would send their own certificate through our different online. Yeah,
nice.
I have done mine, guys, to motivate others so that they can as well as use it. But I cannot safely guarantee its impact right now because I'm not the one with the current statistics. Yes,
All right,
it's being
sure.
minded by
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
in the information department.
Okay.
So they will be at a better position to actually say currently
We have
yes,
the numbers.
yes,
Yeah.
but when we first rolled it out,
It was looking good.
It was looking good.
Ah, nice.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. So on that, how have you been able to? I see it's more like a say what hub, but then how then are you able to incorporate partnerships and how are partnerships working when it comes to the digital innovation?
Okay, so maybe let's take for instance using the Smart Learners Hub.
Yes.
As I've said, it's an online training platform. So you learn a lot of issues. You learn a lot of information there. So maybe let's take for instance under STI, under a module of STI, and then you later realize that you might have someone who comes to you and say some of the symptoms that you have actually seen there.
Yeah.
Or you have learned about them. So we use what we call the referral pathway in terms of giving young people services. So we do not work alone. As say what we are more or less of an information generating organization, a capacity building organization, and as well as advocacy. So we are a non-clinical organization. So now the clinical part we now do with other stakeholders.
That's where the partnership comes in.
That's where the partnership comes in,
nice.
especially the Ministry of Health and Childcare. That's the motherboard. And then we have other non-governmental organizations like Population Solution for Health, Population Solution Zimbabwe, AIDS Health Care Foundation. They all play a part in terms of using the referral system to actually now help the young person who may have encountered a problem and want clinical services.
This is really interesting. So I think as we finish, I would also want you to maybe just highlight how is it a web based? You just go on a web on internet and just type Smart Learners Hub, or is it like a downloadable app, or how do young people get access to it? Like what you say before.
Right now, it's more like a web platform.
Okay.
It's not yet an application.
All right.
But seems like people are working around the clock to make it an application.
Okay.
Yes, so that young people can have it on their fingertips, the information on the fingertips. Because as we can see currently, some of the young people in communities might not have access to internet.
Yes, true.
Yeah, gone are the days where we had internet cafes or even where young people can, young people centers where young people can actually, utilize internet. But to those ones who are actually in tertiary institutions, they can use the institutions Wi-Fi to log in and access it. But for now, it seems as if there's that gap as well, because if you create another solution, there's always another gap.
There's always gaps
that is there. So try as much as possible to make it an offline platform, and as well as a mobile app, something that people can actually download, use it on their day-to-day
I think you
basis.
just jumped into my next question. I wanted to ask the future plans that you have for the digital innovation. Are you planning to extend it? I don't know what other plans do you have?
Yes, there's always room to expand.
Okay.
There's other innovative ways that are coming through. Since we're living in the digital world, there's now AI, which is there. And some of us, we are trying as much as possible to navigate our way through AI. So we'll try as much as possible to also use that Smart Learners Hub to become as youth-friendly as possible, and as well as accessible as possible, either offline or online. And
Impressive.
as well utilize other social media platforms we cannot exclude them, because currently, if you have seen the trends, you know Cristiano Ronaldo, right?
Yeah.
He established his own YouTube channel, which is now skyrocketing when it comes to subscribers. So that's the same thing that we also want to do, use those little bit social platforms, TikTok,
Yes.
everything.
To just reach where the young people are.
Exactly.
Ah, nice. Interesting. You know, this whole Smart Learners Hub is a very good initiative, and I don't know, I can't thank you enough for doing that, because I'm sure there are also other people who are working on their tips to make sure that information is at the tips of the young people, as it is something that we look forward to, you know, for sustainable development. I don't know if you have any last words to probably future organizations who also want to dive into those digital innovations, or I don't know, or people already doing that. I think from your experience, you have probably noted some successes and what not to do. I mean, yeah, I think you can just share a bit on that.
So I would like to say, firstly, make it as if you are in the youth empowerment sector, make it as youth friendly as possible, and try as much as possible to make it also an online and an offline platform, so that
Yes, it reaches everyone.
yes, can reach everyone, can get access to it, and use those interesting interlopes that young people likes. Too much of seriousness, young people tend to run away from
That's
them.
very true. That's very true.
If you check the trends on TikTok, some of the things that we actually gallop on, it's silly, but
Yeah.
we are there. We watch those, and you see the other social media platforms like the Code Red guys, those of the Tokoloshi people. They are coming in with something new, to educate people. So try as much as possible to use those innovative
Very true.
ideas, so that you can captivate or capture every young person out there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having
Thank
me.
you so much, Redemption, for joining us. I think we would love to have more of this conversation on the future of digital technology in order to enhance our sexual and reproductive health advocacy.
That would be so true. And
right.
I'm always available for you. Thank you so
All right,
much.
thank you. So there you have it from Redemption from Say What. A lot is being done, and the future is right here as we continue to appreciate digital pathways for sustainable development. It's a bye for now.